Hi, boys and girls. I have opened up our science book, Orange Science. I'm going to be using this. I'm going to try to be using this over the next month just because there's so many good things in here. I'm in section C, saving our resources, and this is tying back to last week when we talked about Earth Day. And I asked all of you to please share with me one fact about natural resources. And most of you did report back to me. Now, some of you were talking about renewable and non renewable resources. And so I think that it would be very appropriate and important for us to talk about what that means. Those are some pretty big fancy words. And then, of course, pollution. And some of you did the pictures that I asked you to do with a polluted outdoor landscape, and then showing it not polluted. All right, so I am on C36, and I'm going to be reading through parts of this lesson. Here's the get ready box. Why do miners dig deep into earth? They are looking for useful materials such as metals, coal, or diamonds. Useful materials are called resources. Mining changes the land. People have been trying to repair the land. How do you think mining can change Earth? Now, this explore activity is really something that I feel like you could do at home. You might not be able to do it today because it actually asks you to use a chocolate chip cookie. So you're going to have to ask for the help of an adult. Maybe the next time you make cookies at your house, or maybe if you buy a package of chocolate chip cookies, if this is possible, give this a try. Kind of fun. How does mining affect the land? So you would take your chocolate chip cookie and you would observe. That means you're going to watch and look. Place the cookie on the paper towel. Draw the cookie and label its parts. The chips represent resources. The cookie represents the land. So it would be like those chocolate chips could be diamonds, or they could be coal or other metals. Then use toothpicks to try to remove the chocolate chips. Try to remove them without damaging the rest of the cookie. Experiment. Mine all the resources from the land. That means you need to get all of the chocolate chips out of that cookie. Then draw the cookie again after the chocolate chips have been removed. How did the mining change the cookie? If you needed more resources than you found in the land, how could you get them? What if you need more? Infer. That means kind of use your thinking skills now. What are some problems people face when they mine resources from Earth? And how can damage to mining areas be repaired? So even if you don't get to try this on your own, could you make some guesses here now? What do you think might happen? You take those toothpicks and try to get those chocolate chips out. Do you think you'll be able to remove all of the chocolate chip cookies and the cookie will still be in one piece? Will parts of it crumble away? You might be left with a cookie in chunks, right? Some of that land, that cookie, could be destroyed. And with mining, I think that if you study that, you'll discover that mining definitely affects the land that we take those resources from. So whenever we as humans decide to make a change on Earth, it affects other things. And we might do something because we want that resource, but we have to be careful because the resources we take will change the Earth. All right, I turned the page. I'm on C38 now. The main idea here, Earth's resources should be used wisely. What is a natural resource? A natural resource is material on Earth that is necessary or useful to people. You use natural resources every day. They keep you alive or make your life better. Some natural resources come from the air. You take in oxygen, a gas in the air when you breathe. Other natural resources come from Earth's surface. Soil is an important resource. Plants grow in soil. All animals need plants for food. Plants and animals are also natural resources. We use them for food, clothing, and many other things. These well pumps pump oil from deep underground. Oil is found in only a few places on Earth. Then oil is refined into gasoline. I apologize for the snoring dog. I'm on my bed, and there she is snoring away, Callie. So if you hear that in the background, it's Callie, not me. All right, why are plants and animals important? Natural resources? Think of all of the things and the products that we use that come from plants and animals, just from dairy cattle. The dairy products, the milk, the butter, the cheese, the yogurt, the ice cream that we get from dairy products. So useful. And then cattle that we use, the beef cattle, of course, we as humans use for meat, right? And that's just one species of animal. Still, other natural resources come from below the surface. Fuels such as coal and oil are examples. Minerals such as iron, salt, and copper are too. Sometimes people dig very deep into the ground to get these resources. Water is a natural resource that is found above, on, and below Earth's surface. Water is a gas in the air. It falls to the surface as rain or snow. Some of it soaks into the ground, becoming groundwater. And I'm going to read the caption there. Water is one of the most important resources. Certainly, all living things rely on water, don't we? For drinking and bathing, washing, and gosh, waterfalls, lakes, rivers, such beautiful resources to enjoy. What would we do without clean water? What is a renewable resource? A renewable resource is a resource that can be replaced or used over and over again. Soil and water are both renewable resources. Farmers grow crops in soil year after year. Sometimes strong winds blow away soil. Water can wash away soil too. While soil can be used over and over again, it takes a long time for new soil to form. It is difficult to replace or lost or damaged soil. Farmers need to know how to care for soil. Plants, animals, and water are also renewable resources. New plants are grown, new animals are raised to replace those that we use. Water moves from one part of Earth to another in the water cycle. Treated properly, the soil will support crops year after year. And look at this big pile of logs. Like other plants, trees are a renewable resource. New trees can be planted to replace the ones we use. And of course, that is the goal, not to chop down an entire forest and clear cut it and leave nothing, but to replace those trees so that we can grow more. What is a non-renewable resource? Now, we know the prefix non means the opposite of, right? So it would seem that a non-renewable resource wouldn't be renewable. Let's read about it. A non-renewable resource is a resource that cannot be reused or replaced easily. Once a non-renewable resource is used up, we cannot get more of it. Non-renewable resources include minerals such as gems and metals. People value gems for their beauty and strength. Metals are very useful. Iron and copper are metals. Fossil fuels are also non-renewable resources. Coal, oil, and natural gas are examples. Fossil fuels take billions of years to form. They also can be hard to find. Once we find fossil fuels, we often do not keep them for long. We burn them for energy. Then they are gone forever. We don't think about that so much. We stop at the gas station. We put more gas in our car. We buy oil if we need to. We put heating fuel, propane in our tanks outside of our house to heat our house, or whatever we use, and we probably don't stop and think very often that isn't something that we can make more of. it comes from a product under the ground, a resource under the ground, and it doesn't replenish itself quickly, not like a tree grows quickly, not like a crop of corn. And so we need to think about these non-renewable resources and the way we use them, because if we overdo it, they will be gone. Look at those gorgeous gems. So beautiful. Most cars and trucks burn gasoline. Gasoline is made from fossil fuels. Will we always be able to get more gasoline? I know there are many scientists that look into different ways to create fuels from things that are renewable. That's a good goal because, as we said, once a non-renewable resource, those fossil fuels, if they dry up, if we use them all, then we're going to have a problem. What is pollution? As we use Earth's water, air, and land, we add materials to them. When you wash your hands, you rinse soap and dirt into the water. Later, the water is cleaned. Soap and dirt are removed from the water. Sometimes Earth's resources are not cleaned. The result can be a problem called pollution. Pollution occurs when harmful materials get into water, air, or land. When resources are polluted, they may be unsafe to use. Some pollution happens naturally. The water in a lake can become polluted when too much sand or soil settles in it. The lake may become a poor home for fish and plants. Volcanoes and forest fires pollute the air with dust, gas, and ashes. Humans cause pollution too. People add things such as soap and fertilizers to water. Fertilizers help plants grow, but they can soak into the ground and pollute water supplies. For example, we don't want to drink fertilizer water, right? That's not good for us. So if that gets into the groundwater that's close to our well, for example, we could be getting chemicals in our water that are not safe. And the same could happen to the water supply of animals and things. Smog is a kind of air pollution. It is a mixture of fog and smoke. Since we've been in quarantine because of the coronavirus, I've been seeing pictures of cities where the air is much, much cleaner now than these smoggy pictures. And that is because so many vehicles aren't driving. They're staying put. They're staying in place. Every vehicle that drives causes air pollution. And if you have all of those vehicles parked and not going anywhere, the air doesn't take long. And you can see a huge difference. That's been a benefit, a cool benefit, not an intended one, but it's happening. It's kind of cool. Forest fires cause air and land pollution. Forest fires can occur naturally, or they can be started by humans. And this is the time of year when forest fires often start. It's if the land is dry, the grasses haven't started growing yet in the summer, the dead leaves and things, and things can start forest fires. Humans can, by mistake, and then the forest takes off and burns. Air pollution is a problem in many cities. Cars, airplanes, and factories may add harmful gases and other materials to the air. Rain may bring these materials to Earth. The polluted rainwater may damage trees and buildings and pollute water supplies. Land pollution can be a problem too. As Earth's population grows, people produce more trash. Trash takes up valuable space. All living things use Earth's resources. Cleaning up pollution is always a good thing to do. In the past, many people dumped their trash into rivers. Now it is against the law. Thank goodness it is. I hope we never, ever consider going back to doing something like that, to dump that into our beautiful waterways. And so, yes, we have had laws that have been created to protect our earth and help to keep it clean and keep people and animals and plants safe. How can you conserve resources? If we all conserve Earth's resources, we can keep using them in the future. One way to conserve resources is to reduce our use of them. To reduce is to use less of something. Try to reduce your use of paper. Use all the pages in a notebook before buying a new one. Another way to conserve resources is to reuse them. To reuse is to use something again and again. You might reuse grocery bags or glass jars. A third way to conserve is to recycle. To recycle is to treat something so that it can be used again. Glass, paper, plastic, and metals can all be recycled. So, do you recycle at your house? Do you put things in a different bin rather than everything in your garbage? We do separate our glass and plastics and some cardboards and things, papers that can be taken to our local dump and put in a separate spot. And hopefully, those things end up being recycled or made into something new and usable again. Because those things going into the ground and landfill just takes so long to break down and rot away. Plastic doesn't rot away. And if we can find another use for those things, what a good idea. Every year, more and more people live on Earth. However, Earth's supply of resources stays the same or goes down. We keep losing many non renewable resources, such as fossil fuels. Everyone should conserve resources. That means using resources wisely. If we conserve, we can keep using Earth's resources. So, some good thoughts today for you and some questions you can read about on your own.